So, a lot of times we are trying to build something, we are trying to solve some problem for people, for yourself, or even could be some creative project you are trying to build. And when it comes to actually doing it, we come up with one solution, or let's say one approach, or one way of doing it, and we just start following the path and execute. And in that particular thing, it's a high risk of not really exploring other possibilities. I'm not saying whatever method you chose or whatever thing you did is meaningless. Of course not. Of course you executed, and that is a success in itself. But maybe before going into execution, there is one step or one activity which we could do, which can expand our perspective, which can expand our approach, and can end up getting us a better or a more efficient way of solving that problem or creating something. So that's what I'm going to talk about. It's going to be more like an activity oriented episode, so you can pause and do things as well in this one, and it's going to be quite fun, I can assure you that. So without further ado, let's go and start talking.
Your afternoon caffeine with Dailysh Pod is here. A creative podcast to refuel your day. Presenting your host, Suyog, also known as the Fun Indian Guy.
So you're there, you're sitting with your challenge, you're sitting with your problem. Okay, I'll also help you kind of structure that and how we usually do it in our innovation and design world. You turn that particular thing you're trying to create into a challenge. And how we do that? Simple. We turn it by starting the sentence or a question as, how might we do la 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 la. So for example, if you want to create a farming solution in agriculture with some sort of sensors, the challenge would be, how might we create a service with sensors for farmers in rural area? That is one way. Or if you're trying to create a podcast or a show on YouTube, how might we create a podcast about la 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 for la 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 la? So that's how you turned that into a challenge. That's going to be your step one. So now you have a challenge of anything you're trying to build or anything you're trying to create. You can quickly pause this podcast and actually write it down on the paper. How might we ta 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 ta. You can actually take stabs at it, so you can create multiple versions of it, 2 or 3, and then finalize, okay, that is going to be the key challenge of what I'm trying to do here. So pause it, do it, and then resume. Now I'm assuming you have that how might we in front of you. The next step now would be exploring the possibilities of solving it and not really going for the first thing which comes to your head and killing it in that, because that way we kind of reduce different possibilities and more efficient ways, right? As I said in the beginning of this podcast. So that's going to be now your step 2, and we're going to call it how about step. Just like how might we, this one is how about. So you're going to look at the challenge. You can set a timer for yourself for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 10 minutes, depends on how much information you have and how much you are quickly able to come up with different ideas. Set a timer and take a stab at it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to read that how might we challenge, and now you're going to form different ideas which are coming to your head, and you're going to start writing them around on the paper, or you can do listicles one after another, but that particular idea will start with how about. So how about I do this, this, this. How about I do that? How about mixing this with that or something like that? Or how about connecting with these people and doing that? So it can also be a listicle, which might be useful for you. We're not going to have the ultimate how about for that particular challenge. You might have a primary one, secondary one, tertiary one, but do not filter your thoughts. Do not think about if it's relevant, if it's not relevant. Just make sure in that particular time frame, for example, 5 minutes, you are just focusing on writing down how about la 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 la, how about la 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 la, how about la la la. Just keep doing that. That's the core of this particular step. No filtering, no overthinking, just putting the brain dump on the paper with that particular structure of how about. Now you're done with the step 2. You can also again pause the here and do the step 2 and come back to the podcast and continue. Then we're going to dive into the step 3, which is going to be the last step of the whole experience. In step 3, what we are doing is,
Incoming word from our sponsor.
so I was lucky to be able to be at amazing innovation labs across the world and do innovation projects with people across the globe with some super duper amazing brands. And I was doing a lot of different innovation design workshops for them so they can build products and services very quickly, efficiently, and on point, which is more meaningful, more human centered. While I was doing that, I always thought, why can't I make this available for you guys, for your project, for your entrepreneurial journey, for your product and service, or to build your own agency? Why can't I support you with that same methodology which I've been offering to these other people? And out of that urge, we created Futuring Now Lab, and one of our trending workshops, which is 6 days idea quick start workshop, is right now available for you guys at a discounted price because you have been a wonderful listener or a viewer of Daily Pod or the Fun Indian Guy channel. So at the checkout, use the code OFFDAILYISHPOD, which is of Daily Pod. You have the code right down in the description. You can just copy and paste. So make sure you take advantage of this particular discount as well as the workshop. And we will be waiting for you to start this amazing audio visual innovation workshop for 6 sessions. So we'll see you there. And with that said, let's get back to our episode. Thank you. In step 3, what we are doing is basically kind of going through all the how abouts which you have written, making sense of it, filtering them, understanding which are relevant, which are not relevant, which are more important than the others. You can kind of circle which are really, really important ones. You can make squares around the things which are secondary. You can do stars. You can select your system. But the idea is to kind of structure them and making them useful in a way so that now you know what you are going to do first, what kind of things you're going to tackle first, or what kind of things you should explore first. That's the goal of the 3rd step, where you go ahead and filter things. And that way you will have all the action items. The how abouts would be potentially your action items of executing and doing things, which will help you solve or resolve the challenge. And as you must be doing it right now, or maybe you have done it, or maybe you will go ahead and do it at some point, or maybe you will never do it. But if you decide to do it, when you do the how about activity, you will kind of expand and go beyond what you thought would be the first thing you should do, because there you are giving your brain chance to think and overthink and go into deep thinking about different things. Again, I said don't overthink, but what I mean here is by you are expanding your scope. And not really sticking to the first thing which come to your head, so that you will anyway realize as you do the activity, and in the 3rd activity you'll make sense of it and prioritize and then turn them into action items, go ahead and actually execute. So those gonna be simple 3 steps of killing whatever challenge you are trying to solve, and I hope it will be helpful. Again, if you have somebody around you, one person who is trying to solve some sort of problem or trying to build something, this podcast is 100% going to be helpful. I know it because I've done it with many people. I've run workshops on these kind of things under Futuring Now Lab, and people have found immense value out of it. And this is not something which I have created by myself. This is my interpretation of doing things. But we have been using these kind of structures and methods under service design thinking kind of world to build future innovation and all those kind of projects, or even to solve social issues. So definitely it will be helpful. So one person which is around you who you think will generate some sort of value out of this particular podcast and actually take action on their ongoing journey, share it with them. It will be really, really nice as a gesture for them, even for me. And that way we can also touch more people with this particular podcast. With that being said, guys, thank you for staying till the end. Thank you for listening, and I shall catch you in the next one. Thanks.
If you like what we do, then make sure to follow Dailyish Pod wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as on Instagram. For more visual experience, do subscribe to the Fun Indian Guy YouTube channel. Until next time, have fun.